Are you thinking about buying a home in Texas? Watch this video to find out what you need to know first. Hey, and welcome back to my channel. My name is DeLin Soileau. In this video, I am going to cover everything you need to know from start to finish about buying a home here in Texas. First things first, hire a local real estate agent. There is no need to scroll through Zillow or Redfin for hours and hours on end. Whenever you can simply ask a family member or a friend who is currently a homeowner who they used before. You could also check Google and search YouTube, of course. Most importantly, make sure that the agent is a local expert in their market to be able to answer any questions you have, and that he or she should be someone that you like and trust. Your agent should first set up a buyer's consultation with you and your spouse or whoever you're purchasing a home with. Don't miss this step. So many do. A buyer's consult is where you will sit down, typically together over coffee or lunch or whichever, and discuss all the home buying process. They will ask a series of questions to help clarify your motivation, your goals, your expectations, and what is the most important reason for you and why. This will give your agent the information they need to help you find what you are looking for. Okay, step 2, get pre-approval. This should be done immediately after you hire an agent and certainly before you go look at any homes. Yeah, a little story for you. I had a client back when I first started in real estate that we, in fact, had a consultation. He had talked to a lender of their own and had pre-approval up to $500,000. Well, I took their word for it and did not contact their lender first before we started looking at homes. Well, guess what? They fell in love with a home at the very top of their budget. But when it came time to making an offer, it turned out they had gotten pre-approval about a year ago. Needless to say, things can change drastically in a year. Finances change, the economy changes, life happens. Well, as it turns out, they did not qualify for a $500,000 home. Their budget now was about a $400,000. Needless to say, the $400,000 homes did not make them happy after looking at the $500,000 homes. Don't make this mistake. Get pre-approval from a lender. That pre-approval is good for 90 days, not a year. I want to make sure that I stress how very important it is to hire a great trusted lender. I would highly recommend a mortgage lender rather than a bank. In my experience, mortgage lenders are more professional overall and much more efficient because they specialize in exactly that, home mortgages. A lender can make or break a deal. Listen to your agent's recommendations unless you already have someone you know and trust that you have worked with before. Step 3, house shopping. Now, this is the fun part. By now, you have communicated with your agent. They have set you up on a home search portal in the MLS, matching all of your criteria. So as soon a new listing hits the market, you can set up an appointment to see it. The housing market here in Fort Worth on some homes can still be pretty aggressive, at least on the more desirable homes that are properly priced. Step 4 is the contract. Okay, so you found the one. Now your agent will digitally put together a contract. The main components here that you really need to know about is the earnest money. An option in the Texas contract is, well, just like it sounds. You're telling the seller, I am going to pay you X amount of dollars for the option to terminate the contract for any reason within X amount of days. An option fee can range anywhere from $100 to $1,000, depending on the competition of that particular home. All inspections and agreed upon repairs have to be negotiated during this time. If the seller and buyer cannot come to the terms before the end of the option period, the buyer is able to back out of the contract. However, they will lose their option money. If you go to closing on that property, the option fee goes towards your closing costs. Make sure you want to move forward before the option period ends or expires. Now, earnest money. Earnest money is your good faith money. This tells the seller, I am serious about buying your home. Typically, earnest money is 1% of the sales price. So, on a $400,000 home, you would deposit $4,000 earnest money to the title company. Both the earnest money and the option money has to be delivered to the title company within 3 calendar days of executing the contract. Just like the option money, earnest money goes towards your closing cost. The only way you would lose your earnest money is if you break your end of the contract. For an example, if you are a week away from closing and you get cold feet and you have no more legal exits from the contract, you default and the sellers have the legal right to keep your earnest money due to wasting their time and not holding up your end of the deal. Closing date. Typically, a closing date is about 30 days from the date of the contract. However, in a competitive situation, you will want to move it about 3 weeks or less, or as quickly as you possibly can. Remember, as a buyer, what you always want to convey to the seller is that you are serious about buying their home. Again, this is another reason why having a great lender is so important. Step 5, closing time. Okay, so your offer has been accepted. You've negotiated all of the repairs. You're out of your option. From that point till the closing day, you will be talking a lot with your lender and giving them lots and lots of documents. They will ask you for documents for weeks, and likely you will give them the same documents more than once. It will likely get on your nerves, but this is normal and just part of the process. Then finally, about 5 or so days before your closing day, the lender will send you what's called a closing disclosure. That is roughly outlining your final closing cost. It won't be exact, but should be pretty close. At this point, your closing appointment is scheduled with the title company, and your agent will schedule the final walkthrough on the house. In the final walkthrough, you will walk through the home and make sure that all repairs have been made, the house is still standing, and that nothing has been broken. This is the last look that you have at the house before you put all your money on it, so never skip the final walkthrough. If all looks good, you go to closing, sign all the documents, you will bring your closing funds and your driver's license. The lender will send over all of the documents to be signed. After you've signed and all the funds have hit the title company's bank account, the transaction is now considered closed and funded. And finally, at that point, you will get the keys to your house. Now, I know this all sounds like a lot, but it's really easier than you think and so very worth it. So don't be afraid of the process. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.